They throw the sand down. You need to stand down, soldier. This isn't your jurisdiction. With all due respect, sir, I have my orders. To the guy!
The place smelled like warm pastries and fresh coffee, and customers chatted softly at their tables. Among the servers moving around with practiced speed was Emma, a young waitress who worked hard but earned little. She was tired, yet her smile never faded. No matter how rude a customer got, she always tried to stay polite. The cafe door opened suddenly with a sharp ring, and silence briefly swept across the room. Martin Lawson walked in, the arrogant millionaire the whole city knew about. He was tall, dressed in a spotless designer suit, gold cufflinks, and a watch worth more than most people's monthly salary. He carried an air of entitlement that filled every space he walked into. Emma tensed up the moment she saw him. Everyone did. Martin was the type who complained loudly, tipped poorly, and treated people like servants. But because he was wealthy and influential, no one dared to argue with him. Martin snapped his fingers, calling Emma like someone calling a pet. She approached with a polite smile. He smirked and said, "Let's see if you can serve like a real waitress today. I want a double espresso, extra hot. And don't take forever." Emma nodded and hurried away without responding to his insult. At a corner table near the window sat a quiet man in simple clothes, dark jeans, a plain t-shirt, and a jacket. His posture was relaxed, but there was something different about him. His eyes were sharp, observant, and calm, as if he had seen more of the world than he let on. His name was Evan, though no one in the cafe knew much about him. He came often, always sat quietly, tipped generously, and never caused trouble. As Emma served Martin his drink, he deliberately pushed his chair back, nearly tripping her. She barely saved the cup from spilling. Martin clapped mockingly. "Wow, impressive. Didn't expect you to keep your balance. Maybe you're not as useless as you look." The customers glanced over awkwardly. Emma flushed with embarrassment. From the corner, Evan watched, his jaw tightening slightly. His body remained still, but his eyes followed every move Martin made. He didn't like bullies, especially bullies who targeted people who couldn't defend themselves. Martin wasn't done. He leaned forward and said loudly, "Why is the service always so slow here? Is it because you people hire anyone off the street?" He smirked, enjoying the attention he was getting from nearby tables. Emma bit her tongue. She needed the job. She couldn't afford to react. As she walked away, Martin reached out as if to touch her hand. She pulled back quickly. "Relax," he laughed. "I wasn't going to hurt you." That was enough for Evan. He stood up, slowly, quietly, and walked toward Martin's table. The cafe grew silent. Evan's voice was calm but firm. "She asked you politely to stop. You should listen." Martin looked up at him with annoyance, then amusement. "Who do you think you are? Some kind of hero?" He waved his hand dismissively. "Mind your own business." Evan didn't move. "Respect is everyone's business." Martin slammed his palm on the table. "You're interfering with a customer. I'll have you thrown out." "In fact," he scoffed, pulling out his phone, "I'll call the police and have them arrest you for harassment." Emma stepped forward. "Sir, he didn't do anything. He was just..." Martin shoved her aside with his shoulder. "Be quiet. You're already close to losing your job. Don't make it worse." Evan's eyes hardened, but he said nothing. Within minutes, 2 officers entered the cafe. Martin greeted them with exaggerated relief. "Officers, thank God you're here. That man threatened me. I want him handcuffed and taken out of here. Right now." One officer approached Evan cautiously. "Sir, we received a call about a disturbance. I'll need you to come with us." Evan calmly raised his hands, not in surrender, but to slow things down. "Officer, before making any decisions, please talk to the waitress." Martin shouted, "She's lying. He's dangerous. Arrest him." Emma spoke quickly, voice trembling. She explained everything. How Martin harassed her, how Evan simply asked him to stop. The officer frowned at Martin. "Sir, her story sounds consistent." "Consistent?" Martin barked. "She's covering for him. Do you know who I am? I donate to the department every year. This man," he jabbed a finger at Evan, "is nobody." The officer turned to Evan. "Sir, we still need to understand your side. Do you have any form of identification?" Evan reached into his back pocket and pulled out a black card. Simple, matte, unmarked except for a small embossed emblem. He handed it to the officer. The officer glanced at it, and his entire expression changed. His posture straightened. His voice softened with immediate respect. "Sir, I didn't realize." His partner glanced over and instantly stiffened as well. "We're sorry, sir. Completely our mistake." Martin's jaw dropped. What is that? Who the hell is he?" The officer turned to Martin, his tone firmer. "This is a verified identification card for United States Navy SEAL Special Operations. You understand what that means?" Martin blinked, stunned. He's military. He looks like some average guy." "That's the point," the officer said coldly. "They don't walk around advertising what they are. SEALs are among the most highly trained individuals on the planet. And you just tried to have one arrested for protecting someone." A couple of customers gasped. Martin's face turned pale. Sweat gathered on his forehead. He swallowed hard. I didn't know. I thought." Evan finally spoke, his voice low but powerful. "You thought money gives you the right to mistreat people. It doesn't." Emma stared at Evan with a mix of gratitude and disbelief. She had never seen anyone stand up to Martin before, let alone shut him down so effortlessly. The officer took a step toward Martin. "Sir, filing false reports and harassing employees is a serious offense. We can escort you out, or we can charge you. Your choice." Martin quickly grabbed his coat. I'm leaving. He backed away like a scared child and stumbled toward the exit, nearly tripping over a chair before rushing out of the cafe. The cafe remained silent for a moment after he left. Then people slowly began to breathe again. Emma stepped forward. "Thank you for standing up for me. No one ever does." Evan gave a small smile. "You deserve respect. Everyone does." "Are you really a Navy SEAL?" she asked softly. Evan shrugged lightly. "Some things don't need to be advertised." He nodded once at the officers. They nodded back, still visibly respectful. Without waiting for praise or attention, Evan headed toward the door. Emma called after him, "Will you come back?" He paused, glanced back with a gentle smile, and said, "Maybe." Then he stepped outside and disappeared into the night as quietly as he had entered, leaving behind a cafe full of people who would never forget the moment a millionaire bully learned exactly how big of a mistake it is to mess with the wrong man.